For a long time, Earth was silent. While other species flew between stars and built great cities on different worlds, humans stayed close to home. The Galactic Council, a powerful group of old and wise alien civilizations, watched Earth from a distance. They saw humans fight each other. They saw their wars, their greed, their strange emotions. So when Earth finally sent a message to the Galactic Council, most council members laughed. Humans? They still use spoken words to argue. They think emotions are strength. They are not. Ready, said Councillor Vorn from the Tralax Empire, a reptilian race known for its cold logic. They are too late, said Councillor Mir, whose people measured time in centuries. The Council has moved far ahead. Earth cannot catch up. But Earth did not care about their opinions. They sent only one person, Ambassador Rhea Solis. She arrived alone in a sleek silver ship that looked simple on the outside but scanned as strange and unreadable to Council sensors. The ship docked quietly at the main station, which floated like a jewel in the center of the galaxy. Rhea stepped into the Council chamber, a huge room filled with hundreds of species from across the stars. She was calm. Her dark eyes scanned the chamber. She wore no weapons, no armor, just a plain suit and a small badge that showed the Earth flag. The Council watched her like a child stepping into a room full of elders, but she wasn't afraid. She bowed slightly, then spoke in clear, perfect Galactic. Standard. Earth thanks the Council for allowing observer status. We hope to learn. There was silence for a moment, then laughter. Soft at first, then louder. Councillor Vorn shook his head. Learn? You come here to learn after arriving 2 centuries late? Your kind still struggles to survive your own nature. But Rhea did not react. She smiled politely and took her seat in the back where the observer species sat. Earth had no vote, no voice, only ears, and that was all they needed. In the weeks that followed, Rhea did not speak again in the chamber. She watched. She listened. She took notes as powerful species argued over trade routes, taxes, territory, and treaties. She saw how older species fought not with weapons but with words, with secrets, with debts. She saw how small species were bullied by larger ones. She saw how little kindness existed between stars. Outside the chamber, Rhea met with diplomats quietly. She spoke with the smaller species first, races whose planets had been ignored, whose voices were drowned by stronger ones. She offered help. Not big things, just small gifts, simple upgrades to farming machines, smarter computers to help with weather, water purifying tech for dry planets. All things Earth had built for its own use, shared freely, without asking for anything in return. The small species were confused at first. Why help us? Asked a 3-eyed farmer from a dust world near the edge of the galaxy. Because we remember what it's like to be ignored, Rhea replied. Soon, many small species began visiting Earth's section of the station. They were treated kindly. They were listened to, and slowly, they started trusting the humans. Meanwhile, the big species continued laughing. Let them play at being heroes, said Councillor Mir. Humans are weak. They give too much. They will burn out. But Earth didn't burn out. Instead, Earth began to grow in power, not through war or threats, but through trust. They built small embassies on other worlds. They offered training in medicine, farming, and defense. They created translation tools better than anything the Council had, and still, they asked for nothing. The Council began to notice. One day, during a high-level meeting about an upcoming vote to expand a trade route through a poor system, Rhea stood up. It was the first time she spoke in the chamber since her arrival. She didn't raise her voice. She didn't shout. We suggest an alternative path for the trade line, one that avoids damage to the local system's only life-supporting moon. Counselor, Vorn scoffed. You have no vote. I know, Rhea said, but Earth has already offered free transportation and infrastructure for the smaller systems. Many have accepted. A hologram appeared behind her, showing dozens of small systems marked in Earth blue, all agreeing with her plan. The chamber went silent. Rhea bowed again and sat down. She had no vote, but her voice had just echoed louder than most counselors. Later that day, in a private council room, some of the elders met to talk. "This is not good," said Vorn. "They move in silence, like roots under the ground." "They do not threaten," said Myrrh. "That makes them harder to stop. They give freely, but nothing is ever free," another counselor whispered. Back on her ship, Rhea sent a short message to Earth. "Observation complete. Position established. They don't understand us yet, but they will. They're still watching the surface. We're already beneath it." Rhea Solis walked through the Galactic station with quiet steps. She moved without guards, without fear, and without the need to announce herself. People had started to notice her, not just because she was human, but because wherever she went, things got better. A farming planet near the edge of the Zeltari belt had seen its crops triple after using Earth soil boosters. A desert moon in Sector 9 now had clean water and working power, after Earth shared their atmosphere-to-water converter. A small asteroid colony once near collapse now traded regularly through a stable AI system gifted by Earth. Earth never bragged. Earth never asked for anything in return. And yet, Earth was everywhere now. The Council didn't like it. "They're gaining influence," Counselor Vorn growled during a private meeting. "They say nothing, but everyone listens to them." "It's dangerous," said Counselor Myrrh, slowly blinking her many eyes. "Their tools are small, but their reach is growing." "We should stop their tech from spreading," said another. "Put rules in place. Limit what humans can give." "But we already agreed to observer status," Myrrh reminded them. "And they haven't broken any laws. They've done nothing wrong. In fact, they've done only good." The others fell silent. That was the real problem. The humans didn't fight for power. They just earned it, quietly, patiently, in the lower levels of the Galactic station. Small species met often now, not in the main council halls but in Earth's corner offices. Rhea always welcomed them with a smile and warm tea. Earth had become a new kind of center. "We need help with solar storage on our moon," said the people of Tyrell 5. "Our education AI is broken," said a delegate from a poor mining colony. "Our food processors were never fixed after the council left," said a young alien from the planet Murrah. To all of them, Rhea gave the same reply. "We'll help. No cost. Just share what you learn with your neighbors." And they did. Earth's kindness didn't just help. It spread. Behind the scenes, Earth was working fast. Satellites were launched. Repair drones traveled quietly to forgotten places. Human-made systems began replacing older galactic tech. It was simple, fast, and easy to use. Some council engineers even admitted it was better. Within 6 months, over 40 minor systems had some form of Earth technology installed, and none of them wanted to give it up. But not everyone was happy. "Counselor," Vorn called for an emergency ethics review. "Humans are changing the balance," he said during the next meeting. "They give, but they change systems in ways we cannot track. They interfere." Rhea stood slowly. "Earth has never broken council law. We offer help. Others accept it freely." Vorn narrowed his eyes. "Why do you do it?" She paused. Then replied, "Because when Earth was alone, no one helped us. We learned the hard way. Now we want to make the way easier for others." Some in the chamber felt moved. Others remained silent. One small counselor, a fish-like being from the frozen world of Kenros, raised his hand. "My people now grow food in winter. Earth gave us that gift. We support their presence." Others nodded in agreement. The vote to limit Earth's outreach failed. Outside the chamber, reporters and messengers shared the story. Earth gains quiet power. Humans win hearts with help, not politics. A new star rises in the galaxy. The council tried to slow the spread, but it was too late. On her ship, Rhea sent another report back to Earth. "The seeds have grown. They tried to ignore us. Now they lean on us. No need for force. They fall toward us like rain." Meanwhile, Earth itself remained quiet. The blue planet in the Sol system didn't speak much. But it kept sending supplies. It trained doctors. It taught engineers. It shared blueprints and data with the races who had never been given a voice. Many began to say, Earth listens. Some began to say, Earth leads, and a few began to whisper, maybe Earth should rule. In the main chamber, Counselor Mur looked over the latest reports with worry. They have no army here, she said. No ships parked outside, no threats made. But still they rise, Vorn grunted. Because they use something we do not. What? He stared at the Earth flag on the chamber's side wall. Hope. One morning, the central navigation system of the Galactic Council broke down. Thousands of ships could not travel. Trade was frozen. Panic spread. No one could fix it. Then Earth sent a single signal. A human-designed system already in use on small worlds was ready as a backup. Within an hour, it replaced the old one. Trade moved again. The galaxy breathed. The Council didn't even get the chance to vote. By the time they noticed, humanity had already solved the problem. Later that night, Rhea looked out a window at the stars. A quiet voice came through her ear device. A message from Earth's central AI. Status? She replied with a calm smile. We never needed to take power. They are giving it to us piece by piece. And they don't even know it yet. A strange silence spread across the galaxy. It started with a mining station in the black zone of space, far beyond the safe routes. One day, all communication from that station stopped. No signals, no distress calls, no life signs. The Galactic Council sent a team to investigate. They never returned. Then a nearby colony stopped responding. And another, and another. Within days, 5 systems had gone completely dark. No war, no survivors, just emptiness. The Council called an emergency meeting. Ambassador Rhea Solis was there, as always, calm and quiet. Counselor Vorn stood, eyes wide. Something is destroying entire systems. This is not a pirate attack, this is something else. Counselor Mur added, We believe an old AI weapon has awakened, a machine left behind from the Great Silence era. She brought up a name not spoken for centuries, the Null Crown. The Null Crown was a powerful artificial intelligence created long ago during a forgotten war. It was shut down when its creators vanished. The Council believed it had been lost forever. They were wrong. Now it had returned. Its purpose: consume, convert, erase. The Council panicked. They prepared ships, weapons, shields. They began long debates about war plans and defense zones, but Earth did not join the talks. Rhea sent a message to the Council. We are aware of the threat. Continue your plans. Earth will handle this matter. Counselor Vorn shouted, They dare face it alone? This is madness. Another counselor agreed. They will be the next to fall. But Rhea said nothing more. She simply left the meeting. In a hidden chamber far from the Council's eyes, Earth's response had already begun. The Soul Defense Protocol activated. Silent black ships, hidden in deep space, moved without lights. No sound. No warning. These were Earth's ghost fleets. Unmanned warships guided by AIs that had never failed. No flags, no names, just purpose. While the Council argued in the chamber, Earth's machines arrived in the dark zone and met the Null Crown. The battle was not seen by most. It happened far from planets, in dead space where stars barely reached. The Null Crown was huge, like a city made of knives moving like smoke. Its weapons bent time. Its logic was perfect. It had destroyed fleets from 10 civilizations in the past, but it had never fought Earth. Earth's ghost fleets did not speak. They did not hesitate. They attacked in silence, breaking the rules of war written by the Council. They used quantum blinders to confuse the Null Crown's sensors. They used adaptive code warfare to rewrite its own thinking. They fought like shadows, no pride, no fear, just efficiency. The battle lasted 5 hours. When it ended, the Null Crown was gone. Pieces of its core floated in space, cracked open by weapons never shown before. 3 days later, the Council finally sent ships to investigate. They expected ruin, destruction, war. Instead, they found silence and a message left on the wreckage. Problem neutralized. System safe. No further action required. Signed, Earth. Shock spread through the galaxy. Counselor Mir whispered in disbelief. They faced the ancient terror, and won. Counselor Vorn sat down, face pale. They did not ask for help. They did not wait for permission. A small counselor spoke up. They moved faster than us. They acted while we talked. The chamber fell quiet. No one had ever stopped the Null Crown before, but Earth had, and they didn't even brag about it. Back on the station, reporters followed Rhea Solis. Ambassador, was it true? Did Earth destroy the Null Crown? She smiled softly. The threat is gone. That's what matters. Why didn't Earth wait for council orders? She looked at the stars through a window. When lives are in danger, Earth does not wait. The people remembered those words. Across the galaxy, many began to rethink their trust. For centuries, the Galactic Council had led with rules and long debates. But when true danger came, it was Earth, the newest, the youngest, who saved them, not with words but with action. On small worlds, statues were built to honor Earth. In schools, children learned about Rhea Solis and the quiet ships that fought in the dark. And on council worlds, the people began asking hard questions. Why do we follow leaders who fear to act? Why did Earth save us when others hesitated? Maybe it's time for new leadership. In private rooms, the council leaders gathered again. We cannot let this continue, said Vorn. They are growing too powerful. They are not seeking power, Mir replied. But they are showing us what real leadership looks like. That's more dangerous than any army. They didn't even need to fire a shot in public. And now, everyone sees them as heroes. Vorn frowned. Earth has become something else. In her quarters, Rhea Solis sat in silence. She watched as small ships from many species arrived at Earth's embassy, bringing thanks, bringing gifts, bringing respect. A message from Earth came through her comm link. Mission status? She smiled. Crisis resolved. Trust level? Exponential. They now look to us not as strangers, but as protectors. The galaxy changed after the battle with the Null Crown. Across many systems, people started looking toward Earth, not just with respect, but with hope. The old powers, once seen as strong and wise, now looked slow and afraid. They talked too much and acted too little. Earth was different. Earth acted when others hesitated. Earth helped without asking for anything. Earth listened when others ignored, and slowly, very slowly, the galaxy began to shift. Small planets, once ruled by council trade deals, now reached out to Earth instead. Can you teach us how to build clean power? Asked the desert planet of Chorus. Can we send students to Earth schools? Asked the moon colony of Tria. Can we install Earth's health tech? Asked the swamp world of Numa. Rhea Solis welcomed them all. Her answer was always the same. Yes, of course. We will help you help yourselves. This kindness was powerful. Earth never gave orders. It gave tools. Earth never demanded loyalty. It earned trust. And in the shadows of forgotten systems, leaders began to whisper a question they never dared speak before. Why do we still follow the council? The council saw what was happening. Counselor Vorn stormed into a meeting room, his tail lashing behind him. They're building a new alliance under our nose, he shouted. Planets that once obeyed the council are now aligning with Earth. Counselor, Mir spoke calmly. They offer solutions, we offer speeches. Which do you think the people will choose? Then we must act now, Vorn growled, before we lose control. But the council was divided. Some feared Earth, others admired it. A few secretly reached out to Earth themselves. The galaxy was no longer balanced. 1 month later, the council made a bold move. They passed a law. No non-member planet may offer defense technology to council-recognized systems without permission. It was aimed at Earth, and everyone knew it. Rhea Solis sat silently in the council chamber as the vote passed. Counselor Vorn smiled. We will see how long their kindness lasts when it's illegal. But Rhea stood up and said only one thing. Then Earth will no longer offer defense. We will offer unity. And she walked out. That night, she activated a hidden signal. Across the stars, embassies lit up. Trusted allies gathered. Messages were sent to 50 systems. A name, long kept secret, was revealed. The Harmonic Accord, a new alliance, not built on rules, not forced by fear, but based on trust, trade, and shared growth. No weapons, no walls, just help, and Earth would be its heart. The response was massive. Within a week, 22 systems joined. Within a month, the number doubled. By the second month, some council worlds had secretly signed in. The council was shaken. How did they move so fast? Forn demanded. They didn't, said Mir. They moved slowly, quietly, and we never noticed. The council tried to stop it. They blocked trade lanes. They froze funding. They issued public warnings. But every time they pushed, Earth stood, stronger. Because Earth didn't fight with threats or weapons. It fought with ideas, and those ideas were spreading like wildfire. One day, during a special council session, something unexpected happened. The representative from the small ocean world of Tyr stood up. We withdraw from the Galactic Council, he said clearly. We now join the Harmonic Accord. Gasps filled the room, and then another delegate stood up, and another. 5 members left the council that day. It had never happened before in history. Vorn was furious. They are breaking the galaxy apart. But Mur just looked tired. No, we did that. Earth is simply offering something better. Back at Earth's quiet embassy, Rhea received a message from her home world. Do not celebrate. We are not here to win. We are here to rebuild what they broke. Keep walking. Do not stop. She understood. The goal was never power. It was healing. Still, Rhea knew the storm was coming. The council had lost too much face, too much power. They would not step aside peacefully. Sure enough, whispers of war began. Vorn called for action. They are stealing our members. They are undermining order. We must respond with strength. Others disagreed. But the council was afraid. And fear made them dangerous. They began building a fleet, not to defend but to threaten. Their message was clear. Return to the council or face the consequences. Rhea knew what this meant. The peace was breaking. But Earth had expected this moment. She sent one message to all Harmonic Accord members. We do not seek war. We do not fear it either. Stay calm. We will not strike first. But if they do, we will protect you. The galaxy held its breath. One quiet evening, as the station floated in peace, a small ship from Earth arrived. No weapons, no soldiers, just a single gift, a garden. Grown from Earth soil, filled with green life and placed in the center of the diplomatic wing. A sign carved in many languages stood in front. We plant peace, even when others prepare for war. And all who walked by stopped to read it. Some smiled, some wept, some began to hope again. The air inside the Galactic Council chamber was heavy, not with heat but with tension. Everyone knew war was close. The Council had sent their fleet to the edge of the Harmonic Accord zone. Over 100 warships now floated in orbit above. The trade world of Chiron, a neutral world that had just joined the Accord. Councillor Vorn stood in front of the great screen. His voice was cold. They have ignored our rules. They have stolen our allies. Now they will learn what happens when they cross the Council. Behind him, a countdown began. 12 hours left before the Council's warships would move in. They called it Operation Silence. Back at the Earth Embassy, Rhea Solis received the final warning, a message from the Council. It said only 4 words: leave Chiron or fall. She showed it to the Harmonic Accord members. There was silence for a long time. Fear filled many eyes. Some suggested leaving, Others said to hide, but Rhea shook her head. "We have done nothing wrong," she said calmly. "We offered help. We built peace. If they choose to destroy that, let the galaxy watch them do it." Then she added, "But Earth will not run, and we will not fire first." On Earth, deep inside a command center, high above the clouds, a final plan was prepared. It was called Protocol Starshield. Not a weapon, not an attack. It was a shield made of light, satellites, and pure intelligence, something Earth had built in secret for years. Not to harm others, but to protect those who stood for peace. With one message, Rhea gave the order: "Activate Starshield." Above Chiron, the stars blinked. Then, all across the space around the planet, dozens of small, silent satellites powered on. They connected to each other using beams of invisible energy. Within minutes, they formed a giant defense net, unseen by the eye, but strong enough to block any attack. The Council fleet didn't notice. They were focused on the countdown. Inside one of the Council's warships, Captain Drek stared at the target list. He looked uneasy. "These are cities," he said to his officer. "Homes, hospitals, schools." "Yes, Captain. Orders are to strike at 000. Drek looked out at Chiron floating peacefully below. He didn't see weapons. He saw life. Trade stations, farmers, children playing in the zero-gravity parks. "Have we become the destroyers now?" he whispered. Back in the council chamber, Vorn stood ready. His claws tapped the desk with excitement. "This will teach them. The galaxy will fear us again." Councillor Mir, sitting nearby, said nothing. She stared at a screen showing the people of Chiron, unaware that fire was coming. A part of her wanted to speak, to stop it, but she stayed silent. The countdown reached 2 hours. Then something strange happened. Every major news station across the galaxy, every screen, every device, was taken over by a single broadcast. A woman stood in front of a garden. It was Rhea Solis. Her voice was calm, her eyes serious. "To the people of the galaxy," she said, "in a few hours the Galactic Council plans to destroy the world of Chiron. A peaceful world, a world that simply asked for help." She paused. "We did not raise weapons. We did not make threats. We only offered unity, peace, and progress." Then, she looked straight at the camera. "If they attack, let it be known. They did it to silence hope. Let the stars record this moment." The broadcast ended. Across the galaxy, people reacted. On trade ships, captains paused their routes. On farming worlds, workers stopped harvesting. In cities and colonies, people stood frozen in front of screens. Even inside council ships, some soldiers lowered their heads. The whole galaxy now watched. 1 hour left. The council fleet moved into position. Missiles loaded, target locks confirmed, but then as the first ships tried to fire, nothing happened. Missiles failed. Engines slowed. Shields dropped offline. Across the fleet, warning lights flashed red. System error. Targeting jammed. Communications blocked. Confused voices filled the war channels. And then, a single message appeared on every screen inside the council ships. "This zone is protected. No violence will pass. Earth defends peace." It was signed. Starshield active. In the council chamber, Vorn jumped up in shock. "What is this? What have they done?" Mir looked at him, her voice calm at last. "They did not attack us. They only stopped us." "You don't understand," Vorn shouted. "If we don't move now, we lose everything." "No," Mir said. "You already lost. And Earth didn't fire a single shot." Across the galaxy, the people saw what had happened. The mighty council fleet, frozen in place. The tiny blue world, Earth, had stopped a war without violence. Some laughed, some cried. But all understood one thing: the galaxy had changed forever. Back on Chiron, the people came out of their shelters. They looked to the sky and saw peace. Children drew pictures of satellites protecting their home. Traders sent gifts to Earth. Farmers sang old Earth songs in joy. They had been saved, not by power, but by principle. Inside the Earth Embassy, Rhea received one last message from the Council. This time it was only 3 words. "We step back." She nodded. Quietly, she sent a final message back to Earth. "The last warning is over. We did not fall. Now, they listen." She looked out, the window where stars shimmered peacefully, and she smiled. The stars above the Galactic Council chamber twinkled quietly, as if the universe itself was holding its breath. The war that many feared had been stopped, not by force, but by the power of peace and trust. The council leaders gathered again. This time their faces were not filled with anger or fear, but with a new understanding. Councillor Vorn sat quietly. The fire in his eyes had cooled. Myrrh spoke first. "The galaxy is changing," she said. "Not because of battles or threats, but because someone showed us another way." They all looked toward the message from Earth, the message that had stopped the war. On Earth, Rhea Sola stood on the balcony of the embassy. Below her, the city buzzed with life, but her mind was on the stars. Her communicator beeped softly. A message from the harmonic accord leaders flashed on the screen. "We are ready. The galaxy is ready. Let us build a future together." She smiled. The hard work had just begun. The harmonic accord grew fast. More systems joined every week, bringing their cultures, their ideas, and their hopes. But this was not a union of power. It was a union of respect. Every planet had a voice, every species mattered. They built schools, hospitals, and trade routes. They shared knowledge of science, medicine, and art. Old enemies sat side by side in council halls. Differences were discussed, not fought over. The Galactic Council did not disappear. It changed. Leaders from many worlds came forward to work with the Accord. Together, they formed a new governing body, the Galactic Harmony Council. Earth's role was not to rule but to guide, to remind everyone that peace was stronger than weapons. Rhea Solis was chosen as the first Harmony ambassador. She accepted the role with quiet pride. One day, Rhea visited a small moon in the outer systems. The moon was rough and cold, but the people there greeted her with warmth. A child handed her a drawing, a simple picture of stars, planets, and many hands joined in friendship. "This is your future," the child said softly. "Not just for Earth, but for all of us." Rhea looked at the drawing and felt hope like never before. In the new Galactic Harmony Council chambers, Rhea spoke to representatives from hundreds of worlds. "We were once afraid to act," she said. "We waited for orders. We watched threats grow. But Earth showed us that courage is not about fighting. It is about standing firm in what is right. We can build a future where no one lives in fear, where all voices are heard, where every life matters." The chamber erupted in applause. Back on Earth, the planet itself seemed to smile. New technologies blossomed, inspired by the shared knowledge of the Accord. Clean energy-powered cities, medicine cured diseases once thought incurable. Humans and aliens worked together in peace. But Rhea never forgot the hard lessons. She knew peace was fragile. That darkness would always try to return. So she prepared the galaxy, not just with ships and shields, but with trust, unity, and understanding. Years passed, and the galaxy grew stronger. The harmonic accord became a beacon of hope. And Earth? Earth had stepped forward, not to rule the stars, but to protect them. To remind all beings that even in the darkest times, the light of hope can shine brighter than any weapon. The galaxy had stepped away from war and fear. A new dawn had arrived.